Hello, introverts and extroverts, to a spooky Storytime special, for Hallows Eve is right around the corner. Or, well, was. I've had this video script written out for last Halloween, but you guys voted on the Fears video back then, so I did that instead, and now we're here. Heck, I didn't even have time to make the video for this October, so you guys said you didn't mind it coming out in November, and here we are. And if you're watching this on some October day in the future, I hope you enjoy it and don't get spooked by ghosts. But, speaking of ghosts, I've had a few minor encounters with such paranormal things, for I have the sneaky suspicion that my apartment might just be a little bit haunted. So let's talk about it. Before we begin, a little more realistic explanation for some of these encounters is that I'm an insomniac and have an extremely vivid imagination, so my vision and hearing can't entirely be trusted. I don't have a diagnosis or anything of that sort, but my brain kinda likes tricking me, which is always so fun. I usually have to rely on if other people see or hear things in the dark of night. When I was a kid, all the way up to when I was a teenager, heck, even now, I would see things or hear things that weren't real. Usually what would happen is that I'd hear someone calling out my name, or someone crying, screaming, or I'd hear music when there's no music playing. I would hear loud thuds or doors opening and slamming shut. All things that weren't actually happening in reality, but for me, they're all pretty decently real. I'm able to differentiate them a bit more easily on my own now, but I've learned to sort of ignore these noises, and now that I live in an apartment, I can pretend that all that screaming and crying is actually from a neighbor and not in my own head. Or maybe I am... I don't know how to explain it, but maybe I actually am hearing things and I just have better hearing than most people? But usually I hear a noise, I go to inspect the noise leads to nothing. I text people asking have they heard said noise. They say no. I look like I'm crazy, but I'm not. Anyways, all this to say, it could just be in my own head, it could be actually happening, it could be ghosts. Anyways, that's the explanation I have. Thank you. However, my younger sister had told me that ever since we moved here, that she'd wake up in the middle of the night seeing things too. Oftentimes it being a young woman that looks exactly like me. Just, walking past or staring at her. Whenever I had my friend sleep over in the past, he also has stated the same thing. A woman that looks like me walking past the doorway. I mean, I'm fine with ghosts as long as they, don't attempt to hurt me. We can totally coexist. I mean, I'm alive, you used to be alive. We have so much in common, right, Ghost Lady? Huh. Although I think I've encountered this apartment ghost as well, because decorations that I've stayed up for months, even years, just suddenly all start falling down at the same time. Another instance was that one day I was walking towards our dining room table, holding Stella, with my sister walking right behind me, and as soon as I passed our garbage can, suddenly the lid was thrown across the room. Not like it fell or I, accidentally knocked it over. No, it was as if someone had taken it and thrown it, attempting to hit me, but it missed. Oh, that's fun. I didn't know ghosts could do that. I suppose that ghosts would want to get revenge on me over the fact that I used to tell my little sister that they were real in order to freak her out. There was a ghost I made up called Reika that I'd use to get my way when I was annoyed with her. Like older siblings do. I based her off a Wii game that I was obsessed with as a preteen called The Calling. It's very underrated and really good, so if you're able to find a copy nowadays. The main ghost of that game is called Reiko. Yeah, I know, I'm great at naming things. And she was a little girl with a cat plushie. My little sister hated The Calling and refused to watch me play it. So I just brought Reika to life anytime I needed an excuse for her to do something. You know, a ghost actually saved my life once. If you guys, watched last year's Halloween Storytime, you probably remember a short clip of me saying that I passed out when I was 11 and got a concussion. Well, I'm actually going to say the full story of the stuff that happened before the hospital visit. Essentially, I needed to take a shower really early in the morning. I genuinely don't remember why, but I remember that I had to. I think it was like 6 a.m. Everyone in my house was asleep. I woke up and jumped straight into the shower. I didn't eat anything, and I was, too young to understand that my skin condition was a thing that existed. Therefore, I was highly affected by the heat of the shower that I took. When I got out of it, I felt very faint and dizzy, and I started seeing shapes. And I remember this part very vividly. I needed water. I needed water bad. I don't know why, but in my moment of dizziness, I didn't call for help. I didn't panic. I was just extremely compelled to get a nice, cold glass of water. I stumble towards the sink. I get my cup, I place it in the sink and get some water, and as soon as I take one little sip, I don't know if it was the combination of the hot shower mixed with the cold from drinking the water, but I blacked out instantly. My world was just gone. Absolute nothingness. And all I remember from being knocked out was seeing a light in the distance. Getting closer and closer. And then, just as suddenly, I'm pulled back and I wake up to my entire family surrounding my naked body. And the first thought that came to my 11-year-old brain after waking up was, why did no one put a towel on me? Jess, you were choking on your own vomit and you're worried about that? I was what? So, apparently, they suspect that after I took my sip of cold water, that I dropped the cup, fell back, hit the back of my head really, really hard on the corner of the wall, and then my body just kinda flopped onto the floor, and the force and the pain of me falling so violently caused my body to throw up, then thereby me choking on it because I was laying on my back. How long was I out? I don't know. How does this story involve a ghost? I'll get to that right now. Basically, I would not have been found nearly as quickly if it hadn't been for a ghost. You see, like I said, no one was awake, and no one would be awake until at least an hour or two later, let alone the time it would take to notice that something was wrong. Some time after I was out, who knows how long, the phone rang. And remember, this would have been the early 2010s, so we had a landline. And for those of you who don't remember, or are too young to know, Jesus Christ, I'm old, it's basically a shared phone for everyone in the house. But it could only make phone calls. No texting, no screens, no games, just a phone. Anyways, the phone was ringing. The sound woke my mother up, and she walked into the hallway to answer it. Hello? Hello? Weird. My mom suddenly remembered that I said I'd be up early to shower. The light in the bathroom was on, but there was absolutely no noise. My mom walked into the bathroom to see me lying there, choking. And now you're up to speed. My mom genuinely thought that if no one called that morning, that I wouldn't be alive. Whether you want to believe it's a guardian angel or some ghost, that's completely up to you. I want to say it's a ghost because I think it's funnier. Imagine being this ghost, bound to this mortal plane, stuck for all eternity, and then you see some idiot child drinking water and then passing out, and its first thought was just, oh my goodness, I gotta do something, and then calmly dialing the landline to my house. Now, I didn't know where to put this next part, like, I should have put it after me explaining my vivid imagination and stuff, but then I had that whole transition into talking about ghosts, you guys get it. I suddenly remembered this story. When I was like 4 or 5, my mom and my older sisters put up some Dora the Explorer stickers on my wall. Oh, you're telling me that you watched Dora? I was 4! Oh, so mature, Sock. You're gonna tease a 4-year-old for liking a children's show? Oh, dang. You're right. Yeah, that's what I thought. Look at me talking to myself. Anyways, so I had a Dora-themed bedroom with these big stickers on the wall. And little me was really happy with it, except that first night, I saw things. The images were moving, their eyes turned red. They weren't doing anything, but obviously when you're 4 and you see the characters you like moving in the dark of night, you become frightened. I tried explaining to my mom what happened, but all she thought was that I hated the stickers so much that I made up some story, but I didn't. Dora had malicious intentions that I didn't know about, but the implications were terrifying. Anyways, my mom took down the Dora stickers and begrudgingly replaced them with princess stickers. I had the same problem of seeing them move, but I just decided not to tell anyone after that because in my brain, I thought now telling people would make me in trouble or make them upset with me. Also, yeah, hi mom, this is how you're finding out how I remember that situation. But at least when the princesses moved, their eyes didn't turn red. Now this next story is about losing a pet, so if you want to leave for your own peace of mind, you're free to do so. I'll see you in the next one. Always put yourself first. And if you're worried about me, don't be. In a way, these videos immortalize them outside of my memories, so I'm more than fine. I lost my dog, Jasmine, over 2 years ago now, and I'll definitely talk about her more when I make a video about my pets, eventually. But a few days after we put her down, I wasn't grieving well at all, and I understand that I was extremely privileged to not have anyone close to me pass away since I was like 6, and, you know, 6-year-olds don't exactly understand death. Anyways, to cope with my loss, I would cuddle up with her favorite chew toy, a fox. And Jasmine had a few of these toys because she was really picky when it came to that sort of stuff. The toys needed to be soft, and they needed to have a squeak. And her favorite toy was this fox, given the condition of it. But she also had a raccoon and a skunk of the same brand. I took all of 3 of them with me when my mom asked us what we wanted to keep from her. Anyways, that night, I definitely wasn't crying into the fox because I was particularly sad and pathetic that night. It was like 1 a.m., 3 a.m. It was some time that was unbelievably late. Then, in the dim quiet of the night, I know that squeak. It was a squeak from one of the toys that came from my closet. My eyes widen a bit as I look towards the spot that holds her urn next to the other squeaky toys, untouched. I don't know if it was her ghost trying to find a way to communicate that she was okay, but I haven't heard one of her toys squeak since. But I want it to, though. I guess ghosts aren't always so bad, huh? As scary as the concept seems, I suppose I've encountered more well-meaning ghosts than bad ones. Huh. Maybe that applies to human beings, too. Something to think about, I guess. I'm surprised I didn't cry at the part where I talk about my dog, but you can like and subscribe and comment if you want. All these things show the algorithm that you like my stuff, and if you want to support in an even bigger way, become a Ko-Fi supporter or a YouTube member. Also, there's apparently a new thing called hyping a video. From what I understand, you can hype up a video for the first week it's posted for smaller channels to boost it into the algorithm even more. So, if you can, I'd really appreciate it. With all that said and done, I hope you guys liked it. Stay tuned for more. Oh, and, don't let any ghosts harass you on the way out. Apparently they like throwing trash can lids at people? I'm definitely not speaking from experience. Hey Margaret, stop crying. The introverted cartoonist just posted. Oh, really? Who would have thought that ghosts would enjoy watching YouTube in their spare time? That little sock puppet is my favorite. Oh.